everyone. What is going on, my good people? Appreciate everyone who checks in each and every Monday night with me. It's it's Monday. Someone asked me how was today. I said it's Monday. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm appreciative of much gratitude for each and every day that I'm alive. And I'm looking at my. There's like a slight lag, so be careful. I'm trying something new with the camera. So maybe it's what's going on. It's not working like it's not looking like it normally does. So at least I know. You gotta try, right? All right, great. Guys, remember every Monday nights I'm here around 9 o'clock. I want to get it done earlier. However, I have some earlier engagements that take me till about 8:30, 8:40 or so. So I'm able to get on at 8:55. I was thinking I've been doing this show live for a long time. It's a problem. It's over a year now. So and I don't think I've missed one. Maybe I missed one Monday. I don't know, but I can't tell. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the clips because I've been in your and you all have been watching me, which is even greater than that. Like, I mean, I'm glad that you all, those who watch me, I know you are. Thanks for those who are continuously um, reaching out to me, messaging me, talking about, asking me about things that we should talk about. You know, heading in this certain path. Guys, remember that this is me. This is the journey, and This is me documenting my journey. Everything that I'm telling you, I am implementing or about to implement. So once again, appreciate you guys for checking in each and every Monday night. Okay, people, remember Wednesdays, we have a lot going on, and I feel like we need to do some more stuff because every time I talk to every time I talk to a couple brothers, there's some excellent things going on. But Wednesdays at 12:30, for those of you who get a chance, 12:30, we got Joel Simmons, the brother who's with me on Community Beacon on Fridays. He does something. This light is kind of bright. I'm sorry. All right, that's a little bit better. Joe Simmons every 12:30 at 12:30. It starts with me. Go check him out. He's talking to all different kinds of people, and they're giving their testimony. They're talking about what they have exactly going on, entrepreneurship. Joe's an excellent interviewer, just like this brother too. And I'm ready to see his interviews come back. Shouts out to Lou Moroto. What's going on, Lou? Shouts out to Lou. Lou's I tell you guys, if you're in Florida, um, go and check out about a concealed license. And if you want to get it done correctly, Lou is the person that you need to go talk to. Okay. Has all kinds of experiences, is law enforcement, is a vet. Lou, thanks for your service as always. Appreciate you for the support as you always do. Guys, go check him out. Concealed weapons classes. I think every month. I think I've been seeing it going on for every month. So Lou, if you're still on, put your information in here. If not, guys, you can reach out to Lou Moroto in regards to your concealed license. Yeah, I appreciate you every time. I appreciate you every time. I told you yesterday I saw Gus, man, at the gym, man. Guys, Gus is 61 years old, and Gus looks like he's 23. I mean, he looks good. He's in shape. He's eating right. That's another one of our finest, law enforcement's finest over at the sheriff's. I think he's at the courthouse now with the sheriff's. Listen, oh my gosh, if I can be blessed to be 61 and looking as physically fit as Gus is, listen, it'd be a blessing. I mean, this guy looks like he doesn't look like he's a day over 25. Shouts out to Gus Chavez, Lou as well. We did a lot of things together back in Youth Empowerment Center days. They did a lot with the kids and for the kids. Lou ended up putting a picture when he broke his ankles in the gym helping out a couple of days ago. And then, of course, I saw Gus, and Gus gave a lot of those teenagers jobs. A lot of them, a couple of them ended up working at the what was it? The Rapids. So shouts out to Gus, shouts out to Lou for everything that they do and continue to do within the community. I need to get rid of those. You can tell I haven't been a Toastmasters in a while. Yeah, Gus stays in great shape. Friday, community beacon people. Check in. It's 6:30. We're talking about what we would talk about to our younger selves. Excellent conversation that we've been having. If you want to be on that show to talk about some of the things that you would do with your younger self, like, let us know. This is a great time. And then I was speaking to Joel prior to that show. I don't know if it was it had to be the Friday morning or something. We got a chance to get up and have a conversation outside of the show because we both tend to be pretty busy people. And he said something, and he'll bring it up in the show, but I definitely want to give him the credit because I'm bringing it up now. He said that he looks at everything that what we would say to our younger selves, and now he's projecting out to him being 20 years from now, what he should say to himself 20 years from now, and maybe some words of wisdom that 20 years from now could bring back here. So it's interesting how he's using this in order to project onto 20 years from now. And one of the things that he spoke about, which has to do with whatever it takes, is that he's not leaving anything on the field. When he leaves the field, you are going to have to carry him out. He wants to live to, I think Joe said Joe wants to live until he's 131 years old, but he wants to live the life that he wants to live. So from now until then, or a little prior to then, he's going to leave everything on the field and he's moving towards that goal, which is awesome. And that's kind of how I want to round out this show. Prior to rounding out the show, let's get into some. I think I had one of these real estate things created. Let me see if it works. Real estate matters. Let's see it. Oh Lord, it's a long countdown. 9, 8. Can I speed this up? No. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me while this thing flips. It needs to be like a quick, just going right into real estate. I don't need a 10-second countdown. All right, I'm gonna stop talking. Respect the countdown. Real estate matters. Awesome. I'm going to share my screen. Where is it? Boom. This was an article I was reading earlier this morning. Cool. It says COVID-19 slows Black ownership even more. I don't want to get into something huge in regards to race. What we do need to know in regards to race is that Black, especially in Western culture and American culture, Black people tend to be what they call the canaries in the mine, meaning that when the canaries died, you need to get out of the mine. It's just a warning, so that's why the coal mines back in the day, they used to bring canaries down there because the canaries stopped chirping. If they ended up dying, that means that you are getting into a bad place. That's what happens when we reach any of these things. Black people tend to disproportionately to take the brunt. Minorities take the brunt of what is going on. And there's a lot going on. And this kind of doesn't even go into inflation, but we'll get a little into this article. It says that data found 15% of Americans are Black. Okay. That's not, that's been about on par for about 20, 30 years, 10 to 15%. We're between 12 and 15%. But it says the home ownership rate is only 10%. What's interesting is that we are, as a people, are the lowest since I want to say the 50s. The 50s, our home ownership that means that we've regressed. And it's not only, like I said, it's not only Black people, it's not only minorities, it's everyone as a whole. Home ownership, the paradigm of owning a home, the 2.5 kids, picket fence, that is changing. And the people who are, and it's not going to say it in this article, as I've already previewed the article, there's a lot of corporations that are buying out homes. And so what's happening is that most people are being priced out. And some of these people are a lot of this stuff is just not lack of knowledge. Okay, so it says the COVID-19 pandemic may have exacerbated the racial income and wealth inequality in the U.S. Okay, got it. They actually said by 1953, the net worth, and I spoke about this last week, of Black people in America is going to be at zero. It's going to be at zero. I mean, the average Black person is not going to own anything. Right now, I believe it's 18,000. in comparison to white America, which is right around 200,000. And why? Home ownership. Okay. It says Black Americans comprise 50% of the population across the nation's 50 largest metros, but they own only 10% of owner-occupied homes. Very true. Revere Beach is huge, is a big indicator of that. It's tough that it's interesting that a lot of, we don't own a lot in Revere Beach. It's a big rental community. The study broke down the 50 U.S. metro areas, 4 in Florida. They included 4 in Florida, which is Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, Tampa. Orlando's growing huge. Hispanic population is definitely buying homes. I think they're like 29, 30% last time I checked. That was a couple months, maybe more than a couple months ago. It might have been over a half a year ago. So, and I would assume that it's getting bigger. They definitely believe in home ownership. It says in Tampa it's 12.17%. It's 12. And 6.9% own. Okay. Orlando. I mean, and you can't expect 100% of people to own. So I honestly don't think that's that bad. It's almost like what, over 50%. If that's what I'm calculating, 12.17 with a 6.98% ownership rate, a 5.19% population/ownership gap. Orlando's 5.39%, Miami is 7.06%, Jacksonville is 7.3%. Let's see what Jacob Channel says. Unfortunately, the issue of low home ownership rates among Black Americans is unlikely to be resolved anytime soon. This is especially true given the COVID-19 pandemic has had a disproportionately large economic impact on. Like I said, we Black Americans tend to be the canaries, and because this is going down for everybody, we're the canaries in the coal mine, and make it even more difficult for some who identify as Black to buy a home. And in Florida, it's going to get worse. And the reason why it's getting worse is because homes are going up, and as you see, interest rates are also going up. 4.25% last pre-approval I saw, and I think it's gotten higher since then. That was about 2 weeks ago. 32% of Black homeowners reported that they felt their home was undervalued. Listen, everybody. I haven't met a homeowner that didn't think their home was undervalued. Everybody wants more for the home. So this is an interesting thought. And then, I'm going to, maybe a while ago, possibly years ago, but like in the last, I don't know, 10 to 15 years, definitely last 10 years with what's going on. I mean, we have so much information, the internet. You got to understand that appraisers, I mean, there's a certain formulas that they have to use. They have to have comps. They have to have this. So it's interesting that they think that this may be happening. I'm not saying that it's not happening. I just don't think it's as prevalent as we're making it seem. On top of that, you got to think appraisers, everything is based on historic prices. It should be based on comps. And not only that, if you're selling your property, I guess probably with refis, it's definitely a lot different. You can always challenge the appraisal, which I think is good to do if it's crazy low. But for the most part, they tend to be on par. And you got to remember, if you're doing a refinance, it's different from selling a property, right? Because right now you could sell a property and get over asking price, and people will cover the appraisal gap. They'll cover the price between what the bank thinks is worth and what your contract, your agreement and contract, they're doing it. Refis, the bank thinks it's worth what it's worth, and the bank they're not going to take right now they're not going to take not right now. Has the bank ever taken a loss? The National Association of Realtors issued a report in February that found similar results. Overall, LendingTree researchers found that Black Americans make up a larger share of the populations of metros, with a large difference in the percentage of Black owner-occupied homes. They found that Memphis, Tennessee has the largest difference. That's interesting, between the share of homes owned by Black residents, share of the population. On the other hand, San Jose, California had the smallest. Okay, so California. I think that's awesome. I think that was an interesting article. I think we just need to look at this thing as a whole. I think it's very important that we look at this thing as a whole and where exactly where we're going with it. Let me see what Lou said. Lou, Mike, you're doing big things, bro. Let me see. I appreciate you, bro. Keep up the great work. He said Orlando is 85% Puerto Ricans, all NY based. Yeah, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that come from the island that go straight to Orlando. Orlando's growing, huge population, huge metro area. it's more than just Disney World, and it's going to continue going in that direction. So what do we take from that article? What do we take from that article? Let me let you guys know there's been a lot of, and they're working. There are some down payment assistance programs. I think that's one of the biggest things that hold people back. One of the biggest things, right? You always have credit. You have your credit. You have your debt to income ratio. Debt to income ratio is huge. We have to figure out what we're doing with the with student loans. That's good. That's huge. So, and I heard, I don't know, but we need to do something with that. That definitely keeps people from buying properties. But the down payment, far and foremost, is, by far is going to keep a lot of people who have been doing what they needed to do, paying their bills, working, collecting decent paychecks, but can't save. And I spoke about this last week with the video that I watched. If you're making under 75,000 and you're one person, like you're still somewhat in survival mode. It's like you have to make over $75,000, you being one person, especially here in Florida. I'm going to talk about South Florida. And then after that, maybe at 125, like 125 is when you can honestly start aggressively saving. Prior to that, with your quality of life, wanting to go out to eat, wanting to go on, you want to go on vacation, there's a lot of sacrifices that you need to make to your quality of life in order to save up for that for that down payment, right? And then it goes into what I'm talking about today. Like I said, I'm here to answer any questions at the end of this call. During this call, in regards to whatever it takes. And one of the things we spoke about was discipline, right? And I had this Jim Rohn quote, and you see the quote on the bottom. The difference between dreams and reality is called discipline. So what should happen, especially if you're making under $100 and something thousand, like say you're making under $100,000, you're going to have to sacrifice, and you need to sacrifice things that you want now, right? Those trips. And then when you go, I'm curious, when you go on these trips, like what exactly, like you're not really, nothing wrong, but you're like sneaking alcohol onto the cruise ships or something, right? Like you're not really fully enjoying it. You're not doing all the sites. You're not doing it because you're tripping on a budget. Nothing wrong with that. But we need to start thinking about the future. And then if you can be the one to break generational curses, and you can be the one to change the trajectory of your family by sacrificing, being disciplined, sacrificing now so you can get what you want later. Let me see what I'm reading. Shout out Tenacity Foundation. They're always working. Shouts out to Joel and the Tenacity Foundation. So right now you need to sacrifice. This is discipline at this point in time. And the longer you wait, the bigger the gap gets. And you have not. And the thing is, a lot of people, you all have nothing to show for it. I was on the call with someone recently, and they said they would get a nice inflow of money, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and in 4 months they would have spent it because we talk about relationships with money, and I'm not taking myself out of the equation. And in 3, 4, 5 months, the money is spent. You're back to where you were, and you don't know what you did with the money. No matter how, you're not keeping track. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to start tracking exactly what you're spending. Once again, I'm not asking you to live like a pauper. I'm not asking you to live the Spartan life. What I'm asking you to do is to be aware of what you're doing and then put it in alignment with your goals, right? Like we really need to talk about our goals, our vision, saying whatever it takes, our vision, our plan. We need Habakkuk 2, I believe it's 2:2. You need to write it down and make it plain, because that way you know exactly what you're doing. Now you can say no to things because you know what you're saying yes to. Remember when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Why not make it towards your future? Why not it be changing the trajectory in your life? I'm telling you, everything I'm talking to you about, I'm implementing. I am not saying that I never did this. I'm not saying that I still don't do it. Every now and then you want you want a decent quality of life. However, a lot of things are totally thought out a lot more. Right. And if you need help, I showed you tonight. Guys, I think I just kicked myself out of my own show. Okay, I wanted to click this. Let me see. Lulu says, "Don't mean to change your topic." Mike touch on spot approvals for VA loans, specifically condominium. I learned that condominium you have to provide a list of items, and then your lender will send it to VA office in Jacksonville. A lot of vets don't know about that loophole. Okay, and this is a great thing for a lender. I'm not going to tell you I know everything in regards to it. However, VA loans and FHA loans, to go into a condominium for a long time ago, you could, there were only certain condominiums, and in Palm Beach County, there were like 3, right? Now what's going on is, and this happened maybe, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 years ago, they changed it to where you can get approved for certain condominiums, even though they're not on this VA or FHA approved list, which is tiny, right? So what they started doing was they started saying that the condominiums can start to submit different paperwork to accept these different loans types, the FHA and the VA loans. And then you got to understand the FHA loans are 3.5% down, usually and customary. And then you have the VA loan, which is 0% down. So you have some condominiums who, because of their reserves and their financials, and really you got some people on the board that just aren't the nicest, right? They're not the most accepting. So they didn't want these loans with such low money down to be in their different properties. But things have changed. So you can start to get these different loans as long as your lender goes, checks the financials. And now I'm looking at Lou where he says he learned that the condominiums HOAs have to provide a list of items. They do. Then your lender will send it to the VA office in Jacksonville. And a lot of vets don't know about that loophole. If you are a vet and you're able to get a VA loan or access to, and I think this is definitely a lack of knowledge, and you're able to access a lot of these different loans, this loan or anything that's due to you, please go reach out for it. And I'm almost sure, maybe I'll do some research on that there's organizations that will help with this, because you served your country, you did it right, you got out, and you have access to all these different resources, and you definitely should use them. So hopefully that touched on a little bit. Of course, the loan officer is going to be able to answer it a lot better than I can. But you are able to get into certain properties, certain condominiums. You'll have to do a full review as opposed to a limited review, and a lot of people just don't want to do that. So for condominiums, it usually is, people will put 20 to 20. I think it's 20 to 25% down. If it's your primary, I think it's 25%. If it's not, if it's a secondary, which you probably should put 25% down anyways. And if it's your primary, it's somewhere between 20 and 25, so that the condo does not have to do a full review. If you don't understand, please message me, and I'll try to explain it as much as possible. But yeah, these are excellent loan products. Definitely VA loan. Take advantage of that. 0% down. How can you beat that? And then you can do it like multiple times. So work, but it could be worth it. 1,000%. Everything, most things are. I agree, Lou. This everything that I've spoken about in the last couple of weeks is work. Everything is work, but it will be worth it. We have to do this. Goes back to discipline. We have to do what we need to do now, so that we can live better lives in the future. Let me see what else I want to talk about. We spoke about sacrifice, same thing, whatever it takes. Skills, people, start to own your skills, start to master whatever it is that you're doing. What does that take? That's going to take understanding the process that's going to needed to get there, Get a process, get a mentor, go get a coach, figure out what your process is in order to be the best. Be the best. It's lonely at the top because most people don't want to put the time in to be the best. Be the best. It's lonely at the top, but there's a lot more money at the top. You're no longer a commodity when you're at the top, right? You're not you, and that's what you do. You don't want to be a commodity. And then at the end of the day, it's focus. It takes the singular focus. Guys, I've spoken for 26 minutes. I appreciate you all for checking in. Remember, if you have any real estate needs, let me know. PM me, DM me, whatever. Let's figure out something. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's knowledge, it is power. We just have to execute. Other than that, it's Monday, guys. Second week of the second quarter. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. And once again, I appreciate you guys each and every Monday checking in. Like, share, and let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. Remember, Friday Community Beacon. Wednesday it starts with me with Joel. With Joel. I say Joel. Yeah. Love you guys.
I'm getting